Testing 1, 2, 3. Voice check here for Hobbs Eagle baseball. Eagles on the road tonight here in Clovis for game one of the two-game series on the week. Hobbs will play at home at Sportsman's Park on Friday night at 5 o'clock for game two. All district teams playing 2 games apiece against each other, home and away, instead of the doubleheader plus a single. So we will get into that pregame here just shortly. Again, Hobbs Eagle baseball here on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Welcome, everyone. It's Clovis hosting your Hobbs Eagles live on the Hobbs Eagle Network, Cool 95.7's Facebook page, the HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube Hobbs Sports page. Hobbs Eagles again on the road tonight. Game one of the doubleheader. Not tonight. There'll be another game on Friday night. They don't play doubleheaders in district this year. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles coming off 2 games against Roswell this past week, and of course shutting out the Coyotes 4-0 at Sportsman's Park, and then losing a real close game at the end of last week, right before the Easter break, just by 1 run in that one. 12-11 was the final in that game. In the series with the 2 teams, the Hobbs Eagles were 14 of 53 at the plate, and Roswell was just 11 of 47. So Hobbs getting 3 more hits in the series. Of course, the Eagles held him 2 for 22 in game 1 of that 4-0 shutout. Roswell did manage 9 out of 25 in terms of batting in game 2 in their victory. Eagles were 4 of 22 in their first game, and then in the second game, the loss, 10 out of 32. So the 14 hits, 4 in the first game, 10 in the second, 2 in the first game for Roswell, and 9 in the second. Eagles did split that series 1-1 and had 15 runs compared to 12 for Roswell. Well, the bats so far on the last 2 games here, at least in district, some couple guys stepping up pretty big with numerous hits at this point. Jason Fuentes, he went 3 for 4 against Roswell, had a couple of runs scored, so good outing for him. He was also 1-3 in the first game of that Roswell series, so he's had 4 hits at 7 at-bats over the last week. Juan Camacho managed to get 2 for 5 at the plate against the Roswell Coyotes at the end of last week with 2 runs scored. After that, it was Luke Parrish 1 for 3 with 2 runs, and Hernandez, Montez, and Kessner all got a hit apiece. Getting ready for the national anthem here in Clovis. We'll take another 60-second break. You're listening to Hobbs Eagle Baseball live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. We're back live here at Sportsman's Park. Second series of the district for the Hobbs Eagles on the road against the Clovis Wildcats. Of course, Eagles will be at the plate to start this one off. Hobbs coming in with a 7-15 record. Clovis at 500 at 10-10. Very critical game, too. Actually, both games this week, as Clovis currently sits at 17 in the Max Preps poll. That's one position out of the playoff 16 teams that make it, so they're one slot out. Again, that 10-10 record. Your Hobbs Eagles, after splitting with Roswell at number 19 with that 7-15 record. Now, it's why it's critical is you only get to play each of these teams twice in district, but also Clovis has about the same strength of schedule as the Eagles. Clovis at 10.5 and Hobbs at 10.7. So the opponents that they played this year are pretty even. In fact, both teams have played Cleveland, which is one of the toughest teams in the state, currently ranked at number 3. Eagles went 1-2 against the Storm. And it was Clovis losing a close one to Cleveland early in the season. Hobbs Eagles, of course, coming in that 7-15 record, split 1-1 with Roswell. And a game where they were actually, that second game especially, they were getting some good contact on the baseball, but just couldn't get that last couple of runs to get the win there. The biggest problem with that game was one major inning, which was the fourth. Roswell managing 7 runs in the fourth. Hobbs at that point was up 4-2. Neither team scored in the third, but that 7 for Roswell gave them a 9-4 lead. And although Hobbs returned the favor in the 5th inning, they had 7 runs. At that point, it was 11-9. Roswell got 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th to tie it up, and then 1 run in the 6th. Hobbs not able to score in the 7th to get that game to go deeper. But again, very close game, 12-11 Roswell. Hobbs had 1 more hit than the Coyotes at 10-9. Roswell with 4 errors and the Eagles with 2. Hobbs will start off here the first play of the game at the plate for Clovis. They'll have Adams at first, Cordova second, Culliver third, Jimenez at short. On the mound will be Sepulveda, Trujillo behind the plate. And from left to right in the outfield, Hernandez, Moreno, and Rivera. First up for your Hobbs Eagles, Juan Camacho. Number 7, of course, the center fielder, takes a fastball down the middle and watches for outside pitch and the ball. Camacho at .313 this season, has 5 doubles, 1 home run, 16 RBIs, one of the leaders in that category. has been walked 8 times. Eagles batting .333 as a team. Pretty decent numbers there. They get these guys to get around the bases here. Clovis won one game against Eagles last year, 8-6 in the third game of the series. Fastball down the middle, and that's going to go out towards right center. And on the run from right to left to make the catch was the right fielder, Rivera, for out number 1. Had to do a little bit of a sprint to get over there. A little bit of a shallow hit there for Camacho, but the fly out for the first out. Christian Montez now the second baseman for the Eagles, batting .300. 3 doubles, 3 triples, 15 RBIs, and 15 walks. He is a leader in terms of walks this season. Eagles averaging 9.5 hits a contest, getting close to 10 there. 6.2 Ks a game, and 4 walks a contest. Waggling the bat behind his right ear is Montez. Sepulveda turns and fires. Curve it down. It bounces off the plate. That'll make his catcher chase it a little bit there, Trujillo, as it rolls up near the first baseline. Just underway here in Clovis. 1 game scheduled today and then 1 on Friday night to wrap up the week against the Wildcats. Again, no doubleheaders in district this year. Coaches voted on that one earlier. So 1 down for the Eagles. Sepulveda with the windup of the throw. Fastball drops a sinker, bottom of the strike zone. As holding on it was Montez, takes the strike. Count even up at 1-1. Due up next for the Eagles, Jaden Hernandez and Chris Gaston, 3 and 4 in the order. Sepulveda takes a little bit more time now, turns and fires, one bouncing in front of the plate. Having to scoop it up is Trujillo. Count goes to 2-1. And Eagles ranked 19th in the Max Preps poll, 17 for Clovis, just 2 spots ahead. But 16 teams make it, so every single game in district very critical. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Sepulveda, curveball high for ball 3. So getting ahead of the count is Montez. A little bit of a wind out here, maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour. Came in a little bit hazy with the clouds. They're kind of opening up a little bit now for game time. Probably around 80 degrees, getting close to that here today. Fastball low, and getting over the top of it was Montez. Takes the strike, and the count now going full at 3-2. 1 down here in the top of the first. We are slated for 7 in the 1 game. 387 is the wall at center field in terms of measurement. 340 on the left and 330 on the right. Sepulveda going to return. Fastball goes low, but holding was the Montez. Decides not to swing and takes the first K of the ball game, unfortunately. Out number 2 for the Eagles. That brings in Jaden Hernandez, the catcher for the Hobbs squad. Hernandez on the season, .423. He's got the best batting average on the squad with 5 doubles, 3 home runs to lead the team, and leads with RBIs as well, 26. You can expect that when you have home runs. Has been walked 7 times. 2 down here in the top of the first. Sepulveda with the fastball right down the pike as Hernandez held and took the strike. Coach Bowman, who's the third base coach over near the dugout for the Eagles, and warming up, getting ready to swing that bat is Chris Gaston. Next up, the cleanup man. Here comes Sepulveda with the 0-1 curve, and this is going out towards center field. Got a little bit of air on it. Backpedaling is Moreno, and makes the catch, sliding to the middle of the wall. Not anywhere close to the wall, but just a vantage point there. So that's a fly out to center. Eagles with no hits, nobody on the bases, no runs scored. We'll go to the bottom of the first, still scoreless. The Clovis Wildcats here at home come up to bat next on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live in Clovis, your Hobbs Eagles now playing some defense. Chase Brister on the mound for Hobbs, a 4-1 record. Been pitching a lot the last few games. 2.24 ERA. This is his 13th appearance. Has 1 save to his name as well. Top of the order for the Wildcats, Quinn Culliver, Alejandro Cordon, Cordova, and Kobe Rivera 1, 2, and 3. Your Hobbs Eagle defense, Kestner at first, Montez second. That's Christian Montez. Gaston at third. Fuentes at the short, and Hernandez behind the plate. Left to right in the outfield, Phillips, Camacho, and Parrish. Again, Brister on the mound. And again, Brister was the guy that pitched against Roswell. Held them to 2 hits, 5 walks, and 9 strikeouts in that 4-0 win last Tuesday in Hobbs at Sportsman's Park. Of course, the second game, 12-11 thriller, was in Roswell. And, of course, wind has been a factor in a lot of these games during the district season and right before that as well. So you got to kind of put that factor into play as a coach and the players themselves. Hobbs wearing their gold uniforms, black numbers, and white pants in this one. Of course, Clovis with the traditional purples. Brister taking his warm-up pitches. A couple of pitchers were in that second game against Roswell, Gaston and Parrish, as Roswell really improved their hitting at 9 hits in game 2 compared to 2 at Sportsman's Park in Hobbs. Eagles had 10 in the second game and 4 at home in that 4-0 win. So Hobbs did have more hits than Roswell, 15-11. Or excuse me, 14-11. 15-12 the total run production, although splitting 1-1 in the series. Of course, both Clovis and Hobbs made the playoffs last year. Clovis lost a heartbreaker in the second game of their best-of-3, 2-0 to Rio Rancho, who went on to beat Carlsbad in the quarters. Rio Rancho got beat in the semis against Cleveland. First pitch from Brister. A little curve outside for ball 1, a little high there for the likes of the umpire. Quinn Culliver, the third baseman for Clovis, batting the lefty. Brister with the blue glove, the windup and the throw. Curve it inside and gets the corner for the strike as he's mixing it up a little bit here. Cordova, Rivera, and Jimenez, 2, 3, and 4 in the order, due up next. Quick reload here for Brister. Turns and fires. Curve it inside. Check swing for Culliver. I see they thought he went around. No, he didn't. So they're going to call the ball on that one. 2-1. Didn't go down to the first base umpire for that help there. The plate man made the call. Count to 2-1. Brister waiting for the signal that he wants from Hernandez. Turns and fires. Goes down low with the sinker. This one barely gets the bottom of the strike zone. Well, that took a lot of wind out of it as it came close to the plate and just took a dive. Count evens up at 2-2. Still here in the bottom of the first inning. Curve it inside and foul to the left backstop, out of play. We are slated for 7 in this one, just one game. One game on Friday, same time, 4:45 pregame show, and the first pitch at 5 at Sportsman's. Also big weekend for Gus Macker basketball, too. Lots going on in Hobbs here at the end of the week. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Brister. Curved inside and beneath the knees. Good hold by Culliver. Clovis got shut out 10-0 against Carlsbad in game 2 of their series last week. A no-hitter in that one. Here's the full count pitch. Curve outside off the end of the bat, and getting contact is Culliver. So it goes again to that left backstop. Closer game in game 1 as they lost to Carlsbad 9-4. Of course, Carlsbad right now 2-0 in the district to lead it. And the terms of the Max Preps Bowl, always in the top 5, it seems, every year after year for the Cavemen. Although they've got beat early last year in the quarterfinals, as we mentioned before. Curveball outside, chop swing. It's going to go over to second, between first and second. Easy sidewinder throw coming from Montez over to Kestner on the 4-3 for out number 1. As that'll be putting Culliver to the dugouts. So 1 down for Clovis. Alessandro Cordova now, the second baseman at the plate. No runners on the bags at this point. Waiting our first hit of the game. Of course, the Eagles unfortunately had a couple flyouts and a strikeout in the first top half of this inning. Brister turns and fires. Fastball outside, high for ball 1. Of course, Roswell in that first game of that series last year, or last week I should say, pretty much held down by Chase Brister's pitching. In fact, no runs in that game whatsoever. And in terms of walks for the Roswell Coyotes, who again didn't score in that game, really not many opportunities to do anything whatsoever. Got on the base a few times. Where's a time call? Umpire's meeting for a second here and went up to the mound for some reason. Counts 1-0 for Brister against Cordova. Here's the windup in the throw. Curveball near the helmet. And I don't know how he got his brim away from the ball that time. Maybe it was Hernandez got the glove up the catcher for Hobbs to keep it away from making contact. Did mention Carlsbad sitting at number 5 in state Max Preps poll right now. They're 17-5 on the season. A 12.6 strength of schedule. So they play some tough teams and tournaments to start it. Here's the 2-0. Fastball outside corner for the strike. Stop sign up for Cordova. Wants a few pitches to burn here. Rivera and Jimenez, 3 and 4 in the order. Coming up next for the Wildcats. Fastball, check swing, and to take a bounce. Scooped up by Kestner behind the bag. Boy, he got the glove down in the dirt that time. There is a partial dirt infield around the bases. Of course, grass around the mound and the dirt at the plate. So Kestner gets the out number 2, taking care of everything himself that time on the ground out there by Cordova. So they kept all their contacts on the right side of the infield so far. Kobe Rivera now the right fielder. He's 3rd in the order. Brister not going to waste any time. Curveball outside for ball 1. Flicking out the glove was Hernandez, keeping it from going wild. So Carlsbad in pretty good position at this point. Of course, they're playing Roswell this week. I'll split a series there. Here comes Brister with the 1-0. Curve it inside and clips the inside corner. Do a lot of mixing up here, outside, inside against Rivera. Still scoreless, bottom of the first. 2 outs for Clovis. Curve it inside, a ricochet, comes off the handle, the body of Rivera, and takes a roll toward the Hobbs Eagle dugout. Sprinting out of the dugout to come get the ball was Hayden Leeper, but umpire says, I'll take care of it. 1-2 count now to the lefty Rivera. Cleanup man Jimenez up next, the shortstop. Brister says no to a couple pitch calls there from Hernandez, and a time call is coming out of the box is Rivera. Get another lefty for the Wildcats. Coach Cruz, of course, coach of the Wildcats, trying to get his first win in district. Hobbs in 1-1. Brister being very selective about what pitch calls he wants. The 1-2 outside, comes off the end of the bat. Connect for Rivera, middle of the backstop here right in front of us. Thankfully, I did not put the camera in the netting like I was going to do in the beginning, and that would not have been a good one there. You get a little bit more of a 3D effect. Quickly back in the box goes Rivera. Clovis been making some contact, just trying to straighten it out. 1-2, Brister inside. Little flinch there from Rivera, but that was above the chest for the ball. Count evened up now at 2-2. We're going to throw some junk here to make sure that Rivera's ready for him. Here it comes from Brister. Outside curve, and it's going to just barely miss for ball 3. Full count now to Kobe Rivera. Big pitch coming here for Brister. The windup and the throw. Inside off the middle of the bat. Going to go towards first base coaching box. Ricochets off the sidewall and heads out to right field. Chasing it down for the Hobbs Eagles, though, was not the outfielder, Parrish. Instead, Christian Montez had to sprint all the way over, and he's cheating quite a bit towards first base in between the first and second gap there. So all these contacts we've seen so far have been on that right side. Still full count coming from Brister. Curve outside off the end of the bat. This one going to the left backstop, and a very tight net as it bounces off trampoline style. Still making contact, though, are the Wildcats. Again, both them and the Hobbs Eagles in the playoffs last year. Clovis having to go to Rio Rancho and Hobbs down to Las Cruces to take on Oregon Mountain. Here's the 3-2. Curve high and outside. That's a walk to Rivera. So he'll get a base run for Clovis. Runner at first, and that brings up the cleanup man, Javier Jimenez, the shortstop. 4th in the order. Trying to get some offense going for the purple and white. Got the pinstripe pants on here today. Looks like Jimenez is going to take a second to look over to Coach Cruz at third base in the coach's box there and get some signals, and definitely does not want to keep that ball anywhere close to second if he makes contact. That would be a force out for the third out. Brister takes a peek back at third to check the runner. Turns and fires fastball. Ooh, barely misses. A little bit high, I believe. Top of the strike zone there for ball one. And Eagles at 7-15 this season. And kind of important to try to win as many games as possible in district, get close to that 500 mark. All the teams about 12 and down have plus wins at this point. Fastball outside for ball two, 2-0 count. Right now it's Las Cruces 15-5, Farmington 14-7, Centennial 15-5. They're in the 14th slot. Rio Grande at 12-9, Mayfield 10-9-1. Hobbs already got beat by them, unfortunately. And then Clovis at 10-10. Fastball, a little late swing. Going to hit the roof right here in the middle behind the home plate. You can hear the aluminum getting spattered there. So once you get to Clovis, all the teams beneath that under 500. So again, every win is important. Monzano sits at 9-10 at 18th. Of course, Clovis at 17th at 10-10. Here's the 2-1 pitch, fastball, but sliding right to save it to going wild is Hernandez. He definitely was going to think about maybe tossing that down to first to get a swipe on the runner. Rivera's there due to the walk. 3 balls and 1 strike. Jimenez is the cleanup man, but you don't want to get runners on regardless whether he gets a hit or not. Walk would still have runners at first and second. Bristol go with the curveball, almost took out the outside elbow of Jimenez, and back-to-back walks now issued by Brister, which puts runners at first and second. Still 2 down for the Wildcats. Josiah Hernandez, the left fielder, up next. Both teams with a Hernandez as a starter, Hobbs and Clovis. Of course, Jaden Hernandez, the catcher for the Eagles. And Josiah for Clovis, the left fielder. Force out at third now with runners at first and second for the Purple squad. Still scoreless here in the bottom of the first, slated for 7. Couple looks back for Brister to second. Fastball outside, nice slide and containment by Hernandez. And looked like he might have pulled a muscle or something there. He came down in a crowd. No, he got his left hand smacked out here. Might have bent some fingers, and he's hunched over right now behind home plate trying to work that out. And not quite sure what happened on that. I don't think it was the ball, though. I think he might have just bent back. Coach Schaefer's coming from the dugout now to look at him here behind home plate, and he keeps wobbling those fingers around a little bit. And it looks like he might have jammed his right thumb. We're right behind home plate here as he's working on it right now and trying to pull it out himself. And Coach Schaefer says, nope, not going to deal with that. You take care of yourself there. And now a little discussion is Hernandez going to go out and talk to Brister. I don't think the ump's going to let them be out there too long, as that was an injury time. No, 1 ball and no strikes now to Josiah Hernandez, who is 5th in the order. Both runners on due to walks here in the bottom of the first. Back to live action here. Big chew of the gum there for Brister on the mound. Watches the runner at second, turns and fires a fastball off the handle, and that's going to be a long shot, but it's going foul right into the bullpen of the Clovis Wildcats. Over the fence, sidewise. Their first base coach telling him to even out his bat just a little bit. Out to the outfield somewhere to get these runners around. 1-1 count now. Brister on the mound for the Eagles. Fastball low on the sinker. Just barely missed the zone. And count goes to 2-1. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball. Exclusive coverage on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube sports page for Hobbs, and Cool 95.7's Facebook page. 2 balls and a strike. Brister curveball gives a little shade to the chin of Hernandez. That thing came down quickly after up by the chin level there. And the count evens up at 2-2, so Hernandez will have to pretty much protect the plate here. Sun goes behind the clouds a little bit, helping out the Eagle outfielders. Big pitch coming from Brister. Fastball off the handle, going to take a bounce to short. Fuentes should have an easy throw to first and does so, as that'll be the 3rd and final out off the 5-3, as Fuentes connects with Kessner for that 3rd out. But the Wildcats do get 2 on base. Both were walks, though, no hits. Leave 2 on, no runs come across. We head to the top of the 2nd. Your Hobbs Eagles at the plate, scoreless here in Clovis, back in 60. Still scoreless here in Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles on the road will be at home on Friday against the Clovis Wildcats for the second game of the series. So far, Clovis has had 2 walks and ground out 3 times in the infield. And on the other side of the coin for the Hobbs Eagles, 2 flyouts and a strikeout. Fourth in the order, Chris Gaston, the third baseman for Hobbs. Gaston batting .328 this season, has 4 doubles, 3 triples, 2 HRs, 13 RBIs, and 9 walks. So definitely get some good contact for the Eagles. Again, he's the cleanup man. Sepulveda comes with a fastball low, a chop shot over to first. Good handling by the glove there with Adams. Lets it come into the webbing and takes a run to first with a stomp out for the first out. So that was the first ground of the game for the Eagles. They had 2 flyouts in the top of the first. So 1 down for the Eagles. Still 0-0. Cole Kestner now the first baseman in the 5th slot. Kestner batting .288. He's got 7 doubles, a triple, 2 homers. He is currently second on the team with RBIs at 22 and 6 walks. Curveball goes outside and low for ball 1 from Sepulveda. No runners on the bases for the Eagles. Neither team has got a hit yet. Sepulveda taking a deep breath as he checks the call from Trujillo behind the plate. Faces the Hobbs Eagle dugout, turns and fires a fastball. Clips the outside corner as it dropped as it came near the plate. Has Kestner watched that one and takes the strike, evens up the count at 1-1. Single game here at Clovis. Winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour and dying off a little bit here. Sepulveda goes to the same place, a little bit outside this time of the fastball for ball 2. Correction, evens, or yeah, it is 2-1. Use my tongue eraser there. 1 down for the Eagles. Of course, this game tonight and then Friday against Clovis at home and then 2 against Carlsbad to wrap up the regular schedule. Fastball, and this is going to get chopped way outside to the right. It looks like going to go foul. Trying to chase it was the first baseman, Adams, over the shoulder that time, but he couldn't get his glove out there. Kind of a wicked curve to it for Kestner, just trying to straighten that thing up on that first base line. There's kind of a big hump behind first base as you head to the grass part of the field, and you hit it in that spot, and that thing's going to take off in weird directions there. By that point, hopefully it'll be in fair play. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Kestner. Trying to be the first runner of this top of the second. Sepulveda taking a little bit more time to get the call he wants from Trujillo. The windup in the throw, fastball going out towards center field. Got some distance to it, back pedal, and then coming up on it at the last second was Moreno to make the catch. Didn't get quite to the warning track out there, but a fly out for Kestner nonetheless. So Eagles had 3 flyouts into the outfield so far. That's out number 2. Jason Fuentes now the shortstop will check in. Fuentes batting .448. He's got the best numbers on the team with 5 doubles, 3 triples, 14 RBIs, and 9 walks. Trying to become the first base runner for the Eagles here in the top of the second. Sepulveda, fastball down the middle. Hold call there for Fuentes, takes the strike. Few practice swings there for Fuentes as he awaits the delay here from Sepulveda, taking a lot of time on the mound on this series. Turns and fires, fastball outside for the ball. And you can kind of see a movement by Trujillo, a little shift over there to the right before that pitch was thrown. It's like he was waiting for that in that area. Count goes to 1-1. Montez, Parrish, and Phillips, 7 through 9. Hopefully get a chance to get up to the plate here in the top of the second. But 2 down. Sepulveda looking over to his dugout for some reason. Here comes the pitch. Fastball outside again. He keeps going to that outside corner but not making it there as it's a now 2-1 count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Eagles trying to get some contact here. Going to have that big productive inning against Roswell on the road. They got 7 runs in the 5th inning. Fastball low, and this is going to the top of the backstop out of play. We mentioned Roswell had 7 runs in the 4th inning on Thursday, so they were up 9-4 at that point. Eagles return the favor with 7 of their own in the 5th to make it 11-9, but 2 more for Roswell. Bottom of the 5th tied it up, and 1 run in the 6th got the win 12-11, although Hobbs hit Roswell 10-9 in that one. Sinker comes down low and gets off the glove of Trujillo, goes to the backstop. So full count now to Fuentes. Got to protect the plate here. Tristan Montez being very patient as he warms up near the Hobbs Eagle dugout, wanting to get a chance to make some contact here. Starting to heat up just a bit here in Clovis. At least they're not those crazy winds we've been seeing this last few weeks. Curveball is going out towards right field, high in the air. Adjustment by Rivera, and he comes up with a little jog to make the catch. Halfway out there in right field. So that'll be a fly out for Fuentes, the top of the 2nd inning. Hobbs flew out twice, ground out once, no runners on, no hits, no runs scored. As we go to the bottom of the 2nd, home team back up to the plate. The Clovis Wildcats still scoreless in Clovis. Come back with us on the Hobbs Eagle Network in 1 minute. The arch rival matchup here in Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles on the road. 1-1 district record. Clovis at 0-2, looking for their first win in district. They've had some common opponents this year. Both teams have played Los Lunas, Cleveland, Piedra Vista, Farmington, Da Vinci in a tournament, and will be playing Roswell the same. But Clovis have to wait to the final week. That'll be next week. Hobbs went 1-2 against Cleveland. Clovis lost to Cleveland 8-4, which is the same margin the Eagles lost to the first time, 6-2. Also, the Eagles got that win over Cleveland, though, later in the season on March 7th, 11-7 over the 3rd-ranked team in the state. Fastball goes low and outside for ball 1 for Chase Brister as he faces Victor Moreno, the center fielder for the Wildcats, who is now 5th in the order, make it 6th. Adams, Sepulveda, and Steven all coming up. Fastball going high in the air, will stay in the infield. It's going to take a while to come down. Backpedaling for the Eagles, Chase Brister. As he gets the webbing up on the glove over the shoulder and makes the catch. Backing up, had to be careful there, too, to know where that mound was behind him. He was right of the mound to make the catch for the flyout for Moreno. Reed Adams now, the first baseman, 7th in the order for the Wildcats, one of the lefties. 1 down for the Wildcats. Here in the bottom of the 2nd, still scoreless. Brister not going to waste time here. Turns and fires. Fastball outside for ball 1. Clovis having some issues against Carlsbad in that 2nd game last week. We're shut out 10-0 Mercy Road. The only time they haven't scored this season, and only got 64 pitches of that game as Carlsbad took care of business to get the 2-0 wins on the week. Curveball inside for ball 2. 2-0 count now to Adams. So Carlsbad leads the district with that 2-0 record. Hobbs and Roswell tied at 1-1, and then Clovis 0-2. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. Sinker fastball clips the outside corner for strike 1. They do keep their pitcher in the batting order. He'll be due up next. Curveball comes down low at the last second. Swing over the top does Adams for the strike. Now it's 2-2. Only base runners so far for the Wildcats. Back in the first, they had 2 walks. Back-to-back, Rivera and Jimenez. Brister comes back. Curveball hits right of the plate. A nice save there by Hernandez sliding over. Ball might have hit those knee pads there to keep it down on the ground. No runners to worry about, though, and we now got a full count. And due to another lefty being up, seeing a shift over by Montez for the Eagles between first and second. Curveball inside, about elbow high. That's going to be a walk. 3rd walk issued to the Wildcats. They're only base runners in this game, the 3rd of the ball game. That's going to bring up the big boy, Sepulveda, the pitcher. Pretty stocky batter. They got a lot of lefties on this team, and he's another one. Should mention, too, this Clovis Wildcats team made it to the first round of the playoffs last year, but unbelievable, they graduated 11 seniors. 11 seniors departing from last year's squad. They only have 3 on the squad this year. Hobbs doesn't have a lot either, just 2. Clovis with 4 juniors and 7 sophomores. Eagles are top-heavy on the junior division with 10 juniors on the squad. So a combined 5 seniors between the teams, Clovis 3 and Hobbs 2. But again, 11 graduated from last year, so I don't know if you call that a rebuilding year or not. But 10-10 record so far for the Wildcats. First pitch low for ball 1 on the fastball from Brister. This one goes outside on the left, and that's going to be a wild pitch off the end of the glove there of Hernandez, the catcher. And that will send Adams to second base. Still just 1 down in the bottom of the second, still scoreless. Time called, and Hernandez is going to go out to the mound and talk to Brister. Doesn't want to get this away from him here. Sepulveda 8th in the order for the Wildcats. Steven due up next, the DH. So we haven't seen him at the plate yet. He's DHing for Trujillo, the catcher. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 down. Runner at second for the purple. Brister look back at second. Turns and fires curveball off the end of the bat. It's going to take a roll towards second. Will get out into center field. That is going to be an RBI single. The throw back to the mound. Will bounce off the rubber and have to be chased down by Hernandez, the catcher. RBI single for Sepulveda, as that will score Adams. Be the first run of the game for either team in the first hit, thanks to Sepulveda, the pitcher. Hard zinger near second base, about left of it. He went out to center as Fuentes tried to get over there from short, but it was too much of a hot shot, and did get the hit. So runner now at first after the RBI single from Sepulveda. Bottom of the order now is Steven, the DH. He's a righty. Waggling that bat behind the right ear. Big leadoff at first. 1 down for the Wildcats to lead 1-0. Fastball high for ball 1. We'll be back with you on Friday at Sportsman's Park. Home game for the Eagles against the Wildcats. 4:45 pregame. First pitch at 5. Brister comes with a curveball and gets right where he needs it to go. Inside corner for the strike. Stop sign on Steven there. Definitely does not want to hit into a double play at second. And Coach Cruz making sure that he keeps that ball away from that area. Quick look over to first there for Brister. Taking some time here. Fastball, check swing, comes off the handle for Steven. Back to the middle of the backstop. Did get a little contact on that one. Staying alive with the 1-2 count. 1-0 here on the bottom of the second. That close game against Roswell on Thursday, 12-11. It's 1-1 in the first, 4-2 by the end of the second. Hobbs was doubling up Roswell, but then that's 7 runs for the Coyotes in the fourth. Throw to first, not in time. Getting back is Sepulveda. As Kestner swiped the glove, but the runner down way low beneath the knees on that one. Back to the first bag. He definitely doesn't want to get tagged out here, as they would like to add to their lead. Brister with a curveball inside, brushing back Steven for the ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Colton Steven. Clovis will start the order for the second time here. Coming up next. Brister curveball about helmet high. Couldn't get it down where he wanted to for ball 3. Full count now to Steven. Both teams will have 3 more games left. Clovis will play next week against Roswell. Curveball hitting the left hip, and that'll be hit by pitch for Steven. So that puts runners at first and second. Force out at third for the Eagles, but they got to shut this Clovis offense down first. 1-0 score here in the bottom of the second. Slated for 7. Top of the order now, Quinn Culliver. He ground out to second to start the ball game. Second time in the order here. Guess I could put the score up on the board here. Don't want to have to do that for the home team. Fastball. Call that inside for ball one. Colliver the first to the lefties. Time called as Coach Bowman heads out to the mound, bringing the infield. Have a little talk with Brister. Let's see if he's reaching for that baseball yet. It looked like he put his hand out there, but I don't think it's going to happen this quickly. Still a close game, 1-0. We'll take a break, 30 seconds. It's Clovis 1, Hobbs nothing in the bottom of the second. Back in half a minute on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Timeout is done. Chase Brister still on the mound for the Eagles. Ball 1-1 count now. Fastball clips the bottom of the strike zone. And count goes to 1-2. 1-0 here in the bottom of the second in Clovis. Runners at first and second for the Wildcats. Been on with a single, hit by a pitch. Curveball inside, swing and a miss for Culliver. He'll be struck out. First K of the game for the Wildcats. And that'll be out number 2.
Next up for Clovis, number 10, Sandro Cordova.
Second in the order now, Alessandro Cordova. He ground out to first back in the first inning. Runners at first and second for the Wildcats. Fastball high for ball one. Chase Brister doing a lot of pitching lately, at least one game per week without the doubleheader added in for the district. Fastball clips the outside corner for ball or strike one, evens up the count at 1-1. In the district, Eagles have had 15 hits or 15 runs, 12 against by the opponents. Carlsbad leads 19-4, and Clovis 4 runs compared to 19 for their opponent. Curveball inside will be fouled away by Cordova to the right. Some contact there. Count goes to 1-2. Again, Eagles have the force out at third. Other 2 bags are covered with Clovis runners. They left 2 on base in the first inning. Got their run here in the second. Quick back check for Brister to second. Turns and fires. Fastball at the end of the bat, heading towards right field, shallow. Going to take a bounce. Parrish will bring it in on the relay. The runner's going to get sent home. It's going to be left to the plate. So an RBI single connected by Cordova. And that's going to score Sepulveda. And now the score is 2-0 Clovis. Here in the bottom of the second. Still that 1 out needed for the Eagles. Runners at first and third. 2 hits been recorded so far for the Wildcats. Sepulveda and Cordova. Eagles looking to their dugout right now, and a signal being made by Hernandez. It steps in front of the plate, make sure the infield knows what's up here. They get the force out at second if need be, with 2 down. Another lefty up now is Kobe Rivera. He flew, or was walked back in the first. Taking a fastball, heading out towards center field. It should have enough time for a catch made, and a one-hander with the glove by Camacho for out number 3. So Clovis leads 2 on base. They do get 2 hits. 2 runs come across, and we head to the top of the third, almost midway through. It's Clovis 2, your Hobbs Eagles nothing, but they'll be at the plate next on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Top of the third inning here in Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles trail 2-0. Offense up to the plate for the Eagles, trying to get their first hit of the contest. Haven't cleared their first rotation of the order yet. Down to number 7, Tristan Montez, the DH. Sepulveda, the pitcher, curveball inside, heading out to right field. Should have enough distance. Bounces in front of the warning track, hits the wall, and that'll be a double for the Eagles and Montez. First hit of the ball game. Big hit for Montez. Get something going for the Hobbs Eagle offense. Montez came in batting .277. That's his third double of the season after that one. Now Luke Parrish, who's 8th in the order, the right fielder. Parrish coming in at .358 this season. 4 doubles, a triple, home run, 13 RBIs, and 7 walks. Eagles just 1 of 7, though, at the plate currently. Catcher Trujillo for Clovis runs out, talks to Sepulveda. 2-0 score here in the top of the third, slated for 7. 2-1 hit count now. Clovis 2 hits, 1 for the Eagles. After that, double by Montez. Of course, Luke Parrish has been doing some good contact the last couple of ball games. Sepulveda comes off the rubber, fakes a throw to second, decides to hold on to it. Parrish 1 for 3 in that second game against Roswell. Sepulveda still worrying about the runner. Turns and fires curveball at the end of the bat and trying to get it down the first baseline. It bounces fair. They're going to call it. And that's going to bring at least a double. Barely bounced fair on that first baseline. Way out in the right field. That will score a run. So a double, RBI double for Luke Parrish. Important one there. And the first run of the ball game. So Eagles now with 2 hits. Both coming here in this make it top of the third inning. And a 2-1 ball game now. Runner at second after the double. Both of these have been doubles too. Phillips is up for the Eagles. Carson .258 in the season, a double, triple, 3 RBIs and 6 walks. Big windup, and then walking off the rubber behind the mound is Sepulveda as the runner getting back in time. Parrish to second. Both teams with 2 hits now with a 2-1 ball game. Fastball barely hits the bottom of the strike zone for the strike. As Phillips is held on that one. Eagles wrapping up their first rotation on the bats. They'll start the order with Camacho next. No outs for the Eagles. Curve inside, a zinger over to third. Get down in the dirt, and a good hold on the ball was Culliver. I thought he might have caught that one, but it did hit the dirt. Scooped that glove in the mitt as he went down low and able to throw it across field to Adams. Off the 5-3. Good save there on that third baseline as he got down low, Culliver did. So a ground out for Phillips. Top of the order now, Juan Camacho. 1 down here in the top of the third. Camacho flew to right to start the ball game. Second time in the rotation for the Eagles. 2-1, top of the third for Clovis. Sepulveda looks at Parrish at second, turns and fires a fastball. Low and outside for ball 1. Last year the Eagles won the first 2 games of the 3-game set, lost the last game 8-6, so went 2-1. Both teams made the playoffs. Sepulveda comes back, fastball way outside. Good save by Trujillo, the backhand catch. The catcher. If that thing would have gone wild, that would have got Parrish at third easily. Count goes to 2-0, ahead of the count there, Camacho. Camacho does have 16 RBIs this season, who is 4th on the team there. It would be nice to get a double here to bring across Parrish and tie it up. Fastball high, swing and a miss. Hear that one hit the glove as Camacho now gets his first strike on the swing. Montez, Hernandez, and Gaston, 2 through 4 in the order. Only hits coming in this third inning from Montez and Parrish. Here's the 2-1. Little change-up action. This is going to be fouled out across the top of the right backstop over the convenience stand, or should I say concession stand here at Clovis Park. Count even up now at 2-2. Sepulveda comes back. Fastball, a little late swing off the handle and rolls the left backstop off the wall. Behind home plate for the foul. Tying run at second is Parrish. Go-ahead run at the plate. Juan Camacho. Wind blowing about 5-10 miles per hour here. 2-2 pitch, curveball, and that kind of floated like a butterfly across the plate and hit the bottom of the handle there for a foul. Camacho still getting a piece of that one for the Eagles to stay alive. Two balls and two strikes. Sepulveda ready to go. Fastball, check swing, and that's going to be strike three. That stayed put that time for Camacho. That'll be the second K of the ball game for the Eagles. I think Coach Boyle is wanting to know about the call. Is coming out of the dugout now and calling the umpire, and the signal was kind of a flat hand up in the air. We didn't really have the big fist that you usually see on the strikeouts. I think that's what Coach Boyle was wondering about. But that will be the out, number 2 for the Eagles on the K. Runner at second, still Parrish. Christian Montez now. He had a strikeout in the first. Coming off the rubber is Sepulveda. Big step behind the mound there to check back to see what Parrish was doing at second. Goes fastball. Whacked out to third. Should be a routine play. Culliver turns and fires. A stretch out at first. Pulled down by Adams for out number 3. That's off the 5-3. Hobbs Eagles do manage 2 hits. 1 run comes across, 1 left on base. 2-1 score. Bottom of the third coming up. The Clovis Wildcats at the plate. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Close ball game here in Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles trail the Wildcats 2-1. Bottom of the third coming up. Wildcats will be at the plate. Chase Brister still on the mound. So far, Brister has given up 2 hits. Those coming in the third, or correction, in the 1 in the third, or 1 in the second, 2 in the second for the 2 runs it scored as well for Clovis. This is the first opportunity at the plate for the Wildcats here in the third. 2 hits for them, 2 for the Eagles. 2-1 score for the Wildcats. Javier Jimenez, he is the cleanup man for the Wildcats. Shortstop, walked back in the first. One of the 3 walks. Fastball go down low on the sinker, hits off the plate, rolls behind for the ball. Hernandez, Moreno due up next. Neither one of those guys has a hit yet. Clovis has been walked 3 times, 2 hits, an RBI single for Cordova and an RBI single for Sepulveda, the pitcher. Fastball high for ball 2. About halfway through this ball game, slated for 7. 1 game tonight, 1 on Friday. Briscoe resets quickly. Fastball down low, getting contact, gets through the second, third gap out to left field. Both Gaston and Fuentes chasing it. Couldn't get to it, and that'll be a single for Jimenez. That'll be the 3rd hit of the game for the Wildcats, who now have a runner at first. Josiah Hernandez comes in now. He's 5th in the order. Ground to short for the final out of the first inning. Wouldn't mind getting that chance there for the Eagles defense to get that second out if possible. Possibly a double play, too, for Fuentes. That ball comes to him like it did the last time. Ooh, the curve goes behind the back of Hernandez and hits the middle of the backstop. That'll give time for the runner to advance. Jimenez to second. Almost hit the back of Hernandez. time called as the ump's going to go out, plate umpire going to go out and talk to the field umpire. There's a two-man crew. They talk to the pitching mound. Not sure what that was all about. I don't think they were discussing whether that was a beanball or not. Just got lost control there by Brister. Counts 1-0 to Josiah Hernandez. Once again, fifth in the order for the Wildcats. Brister comes back, fastball. This is going to get some air out towards right center. Should be a routine catch for Camacho, and he moves right, makes the catch. He'll toss it in on the relay to short. Fuente's going to fire to third late. Hits the Hobbs Eagle dugout, but bounces back towards the third baseline. So the runner does not advance home, luckily. So a fly out there on the sack, actually, for Hernandez. So runner be at third now. That is Jimenez in scoring position. That is out number 2, though, for the Wildcats, or at 1, I should say. Bottom of the third, 2-1. Victor Moreno now, the center fielder, flew right back to Brister, the pitcher there for the Eagles. Curveball, a little low for ball 1. So runner at third only for the Wildcats. Adams, Sepulveda, and Steven. 7 through 9 in the order due up next. Brister takes a peek at third, fires the fastball, clips the outside corner for the strike, evens up the count at 1-1. All 3 hits have been singles for Clovis, and the 2 hits for the Eagles have been doubles. Back-to-back from Tristan Montez and Luke Parrish. Hits from Cordova, Jimenez, and Sepulveda for Clovis. Curveball inside, a golf swing by Moreno, and it drops quickly left to the plate for the ball, or correction, strike, off the foul. The sun's been peeking out, then dropping behind the clouds again. No chance for any bad weather in this one. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball high for ball 2. Good hold there by Moreno. Of course, Roswell and Carlsbad meeting up this week for 2 games, just like these 2 teams are here in Clovis. Fastball going to head out towards right center. This might drop. Trying to chase it. A diving catch. Somersault action by Camacho. Still able to throw it in to second, but that will score on a sac fly and an RBI for Moreno. Talk about putting your body on the line. The center fielder ran to the right center. Went sideways and dove up in the air. Came up with a catch and still able to throw it in. And might have landed on those ribs there too, but great effort there for Camacho for the out, although a run did score. Bringing it across the plate was Jimenez. So now 3-1, your score. Clovis leading here at home. Have 2 outs. No runners on at this point. Up at the plate for the Wildcats is Adams. Fastball down the middle for the strike. Evens up the count at 1-1. Adams walked back in the second, had a stolen base, and scored a run. He was the first run of the ball game for the purple squad, one of the lefties. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Curve it inside. Check swing for Adams. Did come around on it for the ball. 3-1 score as the home team leads here in the bottom of the third. Brister looks over to the dugout to Coach Bowman, his pitching coach. Curve it inside, and I think it hit him. Yes, it did. So second hit by pitch for Clovis. Happened to Steven earlier in this game. Sepulveda now 8th in the order. He had an RBI single. He's the one that hit Adams home back in the second for the first run of the ball game. He is 8th in the order. 2 down for the Eagles. Force out at second. Runner at first for the Wildcats. Brister turns, fires a fastball off the end of the bat, and ricochets hard off the left backstop. Good tension on that netting there as it bounces off. Chasing it down for the Wildcats is their warm-up man there. Actually, no, Cade McCart, sophomore coming out of the dugout. Fastball outside and saving a wild pitch was Hernandez, although he might have been jumping up there maybe to throw somebody out at first. As Adams out there at first. One count. Brister outside. It comes out the end of the bat. Gets a little air underneath it on the left. It's going to drop short. It's caught, though, on the run first by Phillips. He took a little gallop underneath it. I thought that was going to come down the grass first, but Phillips makes the catch. And the fly out for Sepulveda. So the Wildcats do manage a run score. Didn't get any hits. They got some guys on base. Sack scored the run for the Wildcats, who now lead 3-1. They do leave one on base, their fifth of the ball game. But Hobbs now going to get some bat opportunity here at the top of the fourth. 3-1, Clovis. Come back with us in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Top of the fourth inning here in Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles trail 3-1. Sepulveda still on the mound for the Wildcats. At the plate for your Eagles, Jaden Hernandez, third in the order as they head through their second rotation now. Hernandez flew out to center field, the final out of the first inning. The Eagles have had 2 hits from Montez and Parrish back in the third, now trailing by 2 runs. Sepulveda comes with a curveball outside, swing and a miss for Hernandez. Clovis went up 2-0 in the second. Eagles got a run in the third and another run score for Clovis in the third to make it 3-1. 3-2 hit count in favor of the Wildcats. Quick reload for Sepulveda. Curveball off the end of the bat. Going to take a bounce on the right side of the second. Behind second base is Cordova. Fires to first, doing the splits. The ball went right between the legs but stayed in play there for Adams and completely doing the splits there that time. They're going to say it kind of bobbled towards the dirt between his legs. Give him a lot of credit for the effort there. So that'll be a single for Hernandez. Third of the game for the Eagles in terms of hits. And a courtesy runner coming in for the Eagles as well to check into first. That'll be John Curtis. Next up, Chris Gaston as he looks over to Coach Bowman to get some signals here. No outs for the Eagles. Gaston ground out to first back in the second. Again, Curtis is the base runner. He gets back to first as Sepulveda stepped off the rubber. Looked like he was going to fire over to first and held it anyway. He keeps looking back over there, though. Doesn't want the sophomore playing with him too much. Pitches fastball low and outside. Is popping up was Trujillo. Thought about throwing that to the first base area. Held on to it as Curtis gets back in time. 1-0 count now to Gaston. He is fourth in the order, the cleanup man for the Eagles. Fastball low and outside for the ball. Good eye there for Gaston. Gets a 2-0 count. And we mentioned in that Roswell series, Eagles did out-hit the Coyotes. 14-11 in the 2 games and outrun them 15-12, although they split the series 1-1. One game won 4-0, lost game 2, 12-11 in Roswell in that second one. Sepulveda makes Curtis again run back to first before turning, and the pitch. Fastball low off the handle right to the second baseman. Throws to first, not in time. Nice snag for Cordova. Sailed it over to Adams, but they'll get the out, not the double play. That came about chest high there off the bat of Gaston. Out number one for the Eagles here in the top of the fourth. Cole Kestner now, who flew to center. Kestner does have 22 RBIs this season, though. Second on the team behind Hernandez with 26 heading into the game today. Both teams with 3 hits. Here comes Saplemate, a curveball, wicked one. And it goes out the end of the bat behind the home plate foul. That thing was almost up to the brim level there, but still invited Kestner to swing the bat. Did get a piece of it. Kestner, 5th in the order for the Eagles. Due up next, Jason Fuentes. Both have been fly-out victims last 2 at-bats. Saplemate chasing back Curtis back to first before back on the mound. Fastball whacked hard out to short. Right in the hands of Jimenez. Fires a second for the first out, and they decide to hold it there by Cordova. Did not want to throw that wild to first and just held it, but that will be the fielder's choice for Kestner. No runners at second or third now, but Kestner will remain at first. 2 down, though, for the Eagles. Trying to come back on a 3-1 ball game here in the top of the fourth. Jason Fuentes flew to right for the last out of the second inning. He's up next. Montez, that's Tristan Montez, Parrish, and Phillips. Of course, Montez and Parrish next. They both have a hit apiece, both doubles. Definitely like to get their bats up here to whittle away that 2-run deficit. Saplemate comes with a fastball outside, and they call this strike. I think that was helped by Trujillo moving that glove a little bit, the catcher. Umpire got the strike call on that one. Count to 0-1. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball exclusively on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, on the Hobbs Sports page, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. 0-1 pitch coming, fastball. Another bouncer going to be to short. Backhanding as Jimenez fires across the field to first. Another split look there. Doing the splits at first was Adams, able to make the catch for the out off the 6-3 for the final out for the Eagles in the inning. So ground out to short. Hobbs did manage 1 hit. No runs come across. They leave 1 on base. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, Clovis holding on to a 3-1 lead. We're back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Clovis Wildcats trying to add to their 3-1 lead here. Bottom of the fourth, they're at the plate. Chase Brister's going the distance so far here in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch, fastball outside for ball 1. Brister on the mound, still Hernandez behind the plate. Kestner, Montez, and Gaston 1 through 3 in the infield. Quick reload here for Brister. Curveball off the middle of the bat, found the backstop right behind home plate. Count goes to 1-1. Colton Stephen at the plate. Actually, they might have inserted somebody else in here. Looks like a different number. Let me double check that. It's supposed to be number 9. Fastball with a strike. 1-2 count now. That's Cade McCart who stepped up. He's getting his first chance. Fastball. Going to be a dribbler over to third. Step and throw for Gaston off the one bouncer, is able to nail it over there to Kestner off the 5-3 for the out. So McCart comes in for one swing and gets the ground to third. Top of the order for the third time for the Wildcats, it's Quinn Culliver. He's 0 for 2 at the ground to second and a strikeout. First out here in the bottom of the fourth. Fastball comes off the bat for the foul behind home plate. Still 3-1 ball game. Both teams with 3 hits apiece. Here's the windup of the throw from Brister. Curveball inside for the strike. Evens up the count at 1-1. Clovis getting their 2 runs that started off in the second, 1 in the third for their 3. 1 run for the Eagles in the third. Fastball hits the leg of Culliver, and he'll be hit by a pitch. That's a third hit by pitch for Clovis in this ball game. And that'll get a runner at first now, which is Culliver. And now it's Alessandro Cordova on the plate. Ground to first and had an RBI single, so he is 1 of 2 so far. He looks over to Coach Cruz at third in the coach's box, giving some signal action there. 3-1 lead for the Wildcats. Are slated for 7 here, past the midway point. No errors yet in this ball game. Brister takes a peek at first to see what the runner's doing there. Culliver and throws it to first. Not in time as Kestner. Little late swipe there at the runner. Brister comes back with a fastball. Swing and a miss for Cordova. Only one player has struck out so far. That was Culliver back in the second inning. Nice, get another one here, so no more runners moving around those bases. 3-1 lead for the Wildcats. Brister will come back with a curve inside. Little check swing over to third. Scooped, ready to throw is Gaston. Throws it bad to second. It rolls out into right field on the air. Infield air. That'll make a runner go into third now, which was the guy that was hit by a pitch to start with. So I mentioned no errors, and then there we got one. Throwing error inside the infield. They're going to call that a hit, though, on the board, so we'll go ahead and give that as well. Single. I'm not the official score. That'll be the 4th hit of the ball game for the Wildcats. Important time there with runners at first and third now. Timeout call. The infield going to have a talk with Brister on the mound. They do not want to have the lead extend any more than it is right now, 3-1. That was the 4th hit. 4-3 hit count is the totals right now in favor of Clovis. Meeting of the minds is stopped now. I think I do see somebody in the bullpen at this point. Can't quite make them out. Actually, no. There'll be some JV players over there playing around there, getting ready for their game. Sometimes they do have JV at the same time, but they've had a lack of umpires, so they usually have to wait now or play another day. Time still called as Hernandez steps out on the field, the catcher, and makes some signals to the infield. 1 down for the Wildcats. Runners at first and third. They lead 3-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. The lefty Kobe Rivera's up, walked in the first, and had a fly to right field in his last at bat. Curveball clips the outside corner for the strike. Rivera back in the box. Trying to extend a 3-1 lead here. Wagging that bat just a bit and behind his left ear. Brister peeks at first, turns and fires a curveball coming off the handle and going to go over the Hobbs Eagle dugout left, out of play. So I got knocked off the fence there and went over into the street. We'll be back with you on Friday night. Hobbs will take on Clovis another time. 4:45 for the pregame show, 5 o'clock start on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Exclusive coverage free, of course. 0-2 count as Rivera trying to stay alive. Time called as he comes out of the box. Trying to make Brister think a little bit. Force out at second if Hobbs needs it. But they got to worry about the runner at third. Throw to first. Head first slide to first, not in time, or in time, as ball just barely got there late as Kestner ready to tag somebody out. Coach Cruz definitely just wants to see some contact. Moreno got on a curve it inside, and Rivera gets a piece of it. Hits the middle of the backstop. So again, the ball's all recovered here. Count to 0-2. Rivera just wants to keep contacting this one. Another runner on will make it full load here for Brister. Fastball low and inside. Nice save. Slide to the right by Hernandez. Keep that from going wild. And now the count 1-2. Of course, the Wildcats did get a 1 win against Eagles last year, 8-6. Finish up the series between the two. Hobbs went 2-1 in that one. Brister taking a little more time, though, getting the call he wants from Hernandez. Fastball, swing and a miss. And that'll be a strikeout for Rivera. That's only the second K of the ball game, but taking it a good time to hold that lead at 3-1. That will be the second out against the Wildcats. Bringing to the plate now, Javier Jimenez, the cleanup man. He is 1 for 1, walked and had a single and a run scored, also a stolen base. He is the only guy that's been on twice, coming into his third at bat. Throw to first. Brister again over to Kestner, and a little tap on the back there for Kestner. He's trying to keep those runners thinking twice about moving too far off the bags. Fastball. Good slide to the right to get that call there for Hernandez for the strike. Holding on it was Jimenez. Again, runners at first and third, 2 down. Here's the 0-1 pitch, curveball. This is heading out to center. Will take a 1 bouncer. Gets over the head of Camacho, who misread it. That's going to roll out to center. And that's going to score 2 runs. And they'll get the relay in finally, but not quick enough. Camacho misread the hop. It went over his head and rolled out towards the warning track at center. That's 387 feet out there, too. So misread. They call that one a hit. Extending to a triple there for Jimenez. So I'm going to get some runs on the board for the Wildcats. Actually 1, or 2 should be, 5-1. 2 score. Bottom of the 4th, 5-1, 5-3 hit count, 2. And now it's going to be Josiah Hernandez. Ground to short and fielder's choice. Time called. Hernandez comes out of the box. Of course, Eagles have several pitchers they might need to look to here, but game's not out of control yet. And we still got a few more innings at bat, too. 3 more at bats at least for the Eagles. Still bottom of the 4th, though. 5-1. Fastball clips the outside corner for the strike. That's how you get yourself back in the psyche of things here. Just get those good, clean pitches and get your mind off the runners. Runner is at third, though. That is Jimenez with that strong hit to center. Fastball high. Swing and a miss for Hernandez. I don't know what he was batting at there. A helium throw as Hernandez jumped up quickly behind the plate to get a glove behind it. I think he was afraid that was going to go wild. 0-2 count now. It's base protection time or plate protection time for Hernandez. This one goes low, bounces off the chest protector of Hernandez and makes sure it knocks into the infield a little bit there to see if that runner's going to come off too much at third. Here's a ball, low. 1-2 count now to Hernandez. Moreno due up next. He flew out and sack flied earlier. That was for RBI 2. Fastball outside, swing. Ball was dropped. The throw to first, and that will be it. Runner will not get a chance to score, although he did sprint to home, but that'll be it for Clovis. Wildcats, though, extend that lead to 5-1, so they knock in 2. They do get a hit, or make it 2 hits. 1 left on base. That's their 6th left on base this game, but lead 5-1 as we head to the top of the 5th. Eagles back at the plate, trying to make up some runs next. You're listening to Hobbs Eagle Baseball, back in 60. Back here in Clovis, sun's been going behind the clouds the last few minutes. Starting to get nighttime here. Wildcat land as your Hobbs Eagles trail 5-1, top of the fifth. Eagles at the plate. One of the lefties steps up for Hobbs. They trail by 4 runs. Tristan Montez. He's 1 for 1 with a double back in the third inning. Definitely could use that bat right now. Curveball inside, a little late on the swing as it sails off the handle behind home plate for the ball, for the strike. Foul ball. Luke Parrish and Carson Phillips, 8th and 9th in the order. Of course, Parrish got a RBI double right behind Montez back in the third. The other hit coming from Hernandez, Jaden with a single. Sepulveda going the distance so far. Fastball outside for the ball, evens up the count at 1-1. 5-1 score. 5 hits for the Wildcats, 3 for the Eagles. Clovis scoring 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Hobbs getting their sole run in the third. They were trailing 3-1 at the end of the third. Curveball inside. This is going heading towards the right field, towards the fence. It might be gone. It is out of here. No chance to catch that one out in right field. Over the fence, big-time HR for Tristan Montez, who'll pick up his own RBI as well. That's the 4th hit of the ball game. And he'll get met at home plate. Big-time score there, making it 5-2. Love to have some runners on there, but he'll take it. Big-time shot for Montez, again on the right side of the field for the HR. Tristan Montez, his second homer of the season. Eagles now have 11 as a squad. And comes at a real good time, 5-2. Fastball down the middle as Luke Parrish takes a swing and a miss. He is 1 for 1 with an RBI double. Parrish waiting for the pitch from Sepulveda. Turns and fires. Fastball heading down the third baseline, but a behind-the-head catch. Putting the glove out there towards the line behind his ear and snagging it hard was Culliver. He's really been stretching out for some catches in this game. Hard shot from Parrish. I think he was going to drop down that third baseline. I don't know how he had got the glove out just in time to pull that one out of the air. Carson Phillips now bottom of the order, third, or make it the second time through the order for the Eagles, as Phillips grounded out to third in the third. 1 down for the Eagles. Fastball bunt showing down the third baseline. It will stay fair, and that'll be a good place bunt by Phillips for a single. 5th hit of the game, 2 here in this top of the 5th inning. Still 5-2 ball game. Both teams have 5 hits now after that bunt. One out for the Eagles. We are slated for 7 here in the top of the 5th. Top of the order now, Juan Camacho. Coming off the rubber there is Sepulveda. Fake to throw to first and just stayed up on the mound. Camacho 0 for 2, flew to right and struck out. He has only struck out twice in this ball game. Sepulveda faking another throw to first. Throwing those shoulders back, but decides to hold on to it again. That field umpire really watching his feet closely there, making sure there's no balk action. Another throw to first. This time he will unload the baseball and gets it over to Adams, not in time. It's getting back is Phillips. Runner at first for Hobbs, 1 down, trailing 5-2 here in the top of the 5th. Sepulveda comes with a fastball, low and outside for the ball call. Montez, Hernandez, and Gaston 2 through 4 in the order. Only hit out of those 3 guys from Hernandez a single. Definitely want to get the top of the order connecting here in the next few innings. Try to knock away that 3-run deficit. But both teams have 5 hits apiece. Curveball inside, comes off the handle, and back to the backstop left. Good lead on the run there for Phillips. He was off to the races, about halfway to second, but then realized it was a ricochet. Good contact by Camacho. Sepulveda waiting for a pitch call he wants from Trujillo. Throws to first again. Kind of just lofts it over there. Not really much of a zing on those throws to first. And getting back again. Getting a lot of action, getting low there is Phillips. No harm, no foul. Curveball high. They're going to throw it down to first from behind plate. And good save there by Adams. He had to get down on his knees to block that from going out into right field. The first baseman. Quick throw popping up was Trujillo behind the plate. Kind of a dangerous call there because definitely don't want to get these runners advanced for Hobbs with just one out. 2 balls and 1 strike to Camacho. This one's going to be inside. We go high in the air in the infield. Now it's going to go foul, but still up in the air. And a back pedal and a catch by Trujillo on that first base line in foul territory, the catcher for the out. He kept with it. Didn't have to worry about the sun. It's been behind the clouds for about 10-15 minutes now. Starting to cool off a bit here in Clovis as well. Second down here for the Eagles. One more out Clovis trying to get here. Keep the Eagles from getting back in this game too closely. 5-2 score. Little flinch coming off the rubber is Sepulveda as he chases the runner back Phillips to first. Turns and fires a fastball high. Good eye for Montez. Christian Montez 0 for 2 at the strikeout and ground to third. Looking for his first hit of the ball game. Tristan Montez 2 for 2 so far with a home run and a double. Double for Parrish, RBI double. A single for Jaden Hernandez. Your 4 hits, and Phillips got a single, of course. So 5 total. Curveball outside, but barely clips the corner. Wow. Close on that one. Evens up the count at 1-1. Jaden Hernandez, Chris Gaston, 3 and 4 in the order. Hopefully to get a chance at the plate here in this 5th. Well, he continues to come off that rubber, does Sepulveda. Does not want runners to get too cocky out there around the bases. The 1-1 pitch, fastball, high for ball 2. Hobbs Eagles back in action Friday again. We'll be hosting Clovis. 4:45 pregame. First pitch at 5 at Sportsman's Park. Not Thursday, that is Friday. A little bit different than last week's schedule. Of course, last week, Easter weekend and Good Friday. 2-1 coming. Fastball, flinch, but a steal attempt going to second way late. The throw and the tag easily from behind the plate. Trujillo to Cordova. I don't even know if Phillips knew the throw was coming, but thrown out at second. Out number 3. So the Eagles, unfortunately, could not get any more advancement than that. So Hobbs does manage to get 2 big hits, including the home run for Montez, a single for Phillips. They score 1 run, leave 1 on base, and we will come back at the bottom of the 5th as Clovis leads the Eagles 5-2. Don't miss us here on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Starting pitcher Chase Brister still on the mound for the Eagles. Came in with a 4-1 record, his 13th game of the season he's appeared in. 2.24 ERA, but has a 5-2 deficit to work on. Clovis at the plate now, bottom of the 5th. So far, the Wildcats have managed 5 hits, same as the Eagles. 2 singles for Cordova, a triple and a single for Jimenez, and a single for Sepulveda, the pitcher. He remains on the mound for Clovis so far. Again, bottom of the 5th for the Wildcats on their home field. Trying to extend on a 3-run lead. Victor Moreno will be up. He's 6 in the order. Flew out to back to Brister, the pitcher, back in the 2nd. Also had a sack, RBI sack, in the 2nd inning. Make it the 3rd. Brister still on the mound. Again, that 4 wins on the season. Fastball clips the outside corner for the strike. Moreno waited on that one. Adams, Sepulveda, and Steven actually had a DH in there. McCart was in for Steven. Those are the last three in the order. Fastball at the end of the bat, got to go over the right side of foul territory over the concession stand and the Clovis dugout. You can hear the sound effects in the back. Sun back out now here on this Tuesday night. Single coverage, just one game. Of course, we talked about that earlier, that the coaches voted on single games this year, no doubleheaders due to a referee shortage. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Brister. Curveball right down the middle. Whoa, boy, they're saying a little bit inside. And you saw the shift at the last second there by Hernandez, left to right. The pitch came inside, though, and stayed there closer to the batter than the plates. Here's the 1-2. Another curveball. And that's called a ball as well. Real close to that strike zone as Moreno takes a look over to Coach Cruz at third, and a little bit too close for comfort for him on those last two pitches. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Moreno. Brister goes a curve inside, a knuckler. Might have even hit the hand of Moreno on that one, and part of the handle as it goes foul and right to the Clovis dugout. A lot of hamburger grill smoke coming out on the field now. There's a little haze out there in right field. Clovis getting hungry for a hit as well. 2-2 count now to Moreno, and Brister trying to shut him down. Curveball inside, another knuckler off the hand, and drops right to the plate. Scooped up by Hernandez, the catcher for the Eagles. He runs out to the mound to have a talk here with Brister. And again, 7 innings that we are set for. Clear my outboard here. Bottom of the 5th. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Brister faces Moreno. The windup and the throw. Fastball at the end of the bat. And trying to lunge across the plate that time. Moreno couldn't get the bat extended as far as he wanted to. Pitch was outside anyway, but does get contact to stay alive. Bottom of the order, Adams, Sepulveda, and Steven. There's only 1 hit on 6 at-bats with those 3. Also a walk, 2 hit by pitches. Fastball outside, way outside for Moreno. Good eye on that one. Counts now at 2-2. Trying to claw his way back into it, Victor Moreno, the center fielder for the Wildcats. Actually full count now, 3-2. A little delay now for Brister. Makes sure to get the call he needs on this pitch. Fastball goes outside, and it's going to be a strike as Moreno never made attempt to swing that ball. Swing the bat, I mean. That'll be the 3rd K, or make it the 4th now for Brister against the Clovis batters. That'll be out number 1 for the Purple squad. 1 down here on the bottom of the 5th. 5-2, Wildcats lead. Lefty Reed Adams at the plate. He walked and was hit by a pitch. Scored a run in a stolen base. Curveball inside. It's going to go foul. Over towards the Hobbs Eagle bullpen on the left, over the fence. Over with the JV is preparing themselves for their game after this one. Adams back in the box now, and Brister's going to be quickly reloading. Curve it, and outside for the ball. Evens up the count at 1-1. Clovis trying to get their first district win of this season. This would be the 2nd for Hobbs. They get the comeback here. The 1-1 coming. Curveball outside for ball 2. Trying to lure Adams across the plate. He's staying staunch on the right side. Of course, batting left. Brister going the distance, the starter. 2-1. Fastball outside for ball 3 as Adams gets ahead of the count. So far been 3 walks issued, but 2 in the first inning. Kind of quieted down since then, but there has been 3 hit by pitches against the Wildcats. Curve it inside off the end of the bat. Late swing. Going to go again to that left. Oh, actually hits the backstop before bouncing back behind home plate. Thought that thing was going to go over there, but the tight netting keeps it on the field. Full count now. Brister trying to work on that 2nd out for the Eagles. Curve it inside, and this one on the end of the bat, a little bit more strength on it, but it's going left foul again. Big light poles, it kind of curves outside left of that into the Hobbs Eagle bullpen. So still staying alive is Reed Adams. He is the first baseman for Clovis. me. 5-2 your score. Clovis had a pair of runs in the second and the fourth. Eagles with the run apiece in the third and the fifth. Only inning that Clovis hadn't scored was the first inning, with 0-0 at the end of one. Try to get their first run of the fifth. Full count coming again. Fastball and right back to that left foul. A lot of balls heading towards the parking lot over there. Exactly where I'm parked. I don't think workman's comp's going to work in my benefit, though. Battle continues. Brister versus Adams. Little smile on the face at Brister. He knows this is kind of lasting a long time. Curveball inside, coming off the handle, and a slap hard to the right side of the backstop. Getting in foul territory the other direction, though. Switch up on the swing there for Adams. He's been on base twice. Again, that walk, and then was hit by a ball. Hit by a pitch from Brister. Brister comes off the mound, time called, and doesn't waste any time to get back up on it. The windup in the throw. Fastball hits the base, and that'll be a walk. I think it might have got a piece of the bat. Is that a drop strike possibly there?
Next up for Clovis, number 16, Conrad.
So Adams been on base all three times, and now eighth in the order for the Wildcats, Conrad Sepulveda. He is the pitcher who's remained out there for the game. He is 1 of 2, an RBI single, a run scored, flew to left in his second at bat. This is his third time up. Only one out for the Wildcats. They'll lead by 3, 5-2. Both teams with 5 hits apiece. The throw to first. Back in time, the runner, Adams. Steven will be the last up, although he was DH on the last one by McCart. So we'll see if he comes back in. Fastball off the end of the bat. It's heading to right center. It's coming down low, but a good catch in stride by Camacho as he slid over to the right side, the center fielder there. He's had some good acrobatic plays in this game. And that'll be out number 2 for the Wildcats. Probably would have just been a single. He'd been able to throw that into second to keep the runners at bay, but got the out instead. So 2 down for the Wildcats. I want to see who they brought in on this. It will be McCart, his second at-bat. Ground out to third, his first opportunity. Hobbs helping for his third out here in the bottom of the 5th. Big lead off at first for the Wildcats. Curveball, check swing, and a wobbler. Got a little curve action to it as I think Kester at first thought that was going to stay fair and chased up that first base line. But it took a wicked turn towards the Clovis dugout on the right side, so no chance for a play on that one, but good effort regardless. Brister comes to the curve, right across the plate for the strike. Nice floater coming on there. Count goes to 0-2, so he's getting ahead of the DHer, McCart. Force out at second as well for the Eagles if needed. Brister comes back, fastball, swing and a miss, and that will sit down McCart for the second time. It's another K issued by Brister, his 5th of the ball game. As the Wildcats don't do much in that part of the inning, as they get 1 walk, leave 1 on base, no hits, no runs scored. We go to the bottom of the 5th. The Eagles got to climb back into this one, down 5-2 on the road, back in 60 on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Hobbs Eagle offense ready to go. They've had 5 hits out of 19 at bats so far in this ball game. Trail 5-2. Top of the 6th inning, slated for 7 here in Clovis. Both teams with 5 hits apiece. Hobbs with 1 error, none for the Wildcats. In fact, the Eagles haven't even been walked in this game yet. They've only left 2 on base, but Clovis has left 7 on base. That has been a little bit of a difference there, but still have a 3-run lead. Sepulveda going the distance so far for the Wildcats on the mound. He throws a fastball high for ball 1 against Christian Montez. Montez 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground to third. Try to get back, trailing by 3, 5-2. Eagles at 1-1. Clovis at 0-2. 1-0 pitch fastball into the bat. That's going to go foul high in the air, going towards the sidewall, but it stays a chance for the first baseman to come over and slide to make the catch. Gets over near the wall there on the right foul, and Adams comes up with it. And the sun right in his face. His teammates behind him, or the ones at least in the dugout, JV players, cheering him on for the flyout. So 1 down for the Eagles. Thought that definitely was going to stay foul, but just enough air on it to last enough for the first baseman. So out number 1 for the Eagles. Top of the 6th, trail 5-2. Jaden Hernandez now in. Correction, there is a change. It is Jaden Hernandez. Curveball inside. It's going to go towards the left wall. A leaping attempt. Missing it is the left fielder, Hernandez. So Hernandez missing Hernandez. Deep shot to left, and that will be a double. So nice connection for Jaden Hernandez. That will be a double. He is 2 for 3 now at the plate, definitely helping out the cause. The 6th hit of the game for the Eagles. And that's going to bring up Chris Gaston, who's 0 for 2, ground to first, flew to second. Definitely want to keep this out of the infield if possible. Again, Hobbs down by 3. Runner at second. Boy, Sepulveda is really staring down at second, watching the runner. Curving inside. He'll hit towards second on the ground to Cordova. Fires to first for the out. And it looked like Adams was thinking about throwing it to third to pick off the runner, but decides to hold on to it. So that'll be out number 2, and brings in the 5th in the order, Cole Kestner. Kestner with a fly to center and a fielder's choice earlier. That's out number 2 for the Eagles, who trail 5-2 here in the top of the 6th. Fuentes, Montez, hopefully get a chance to come up. Montez 2 for 2 so far, including an HR. First pitch, though, Pavetta with the fastball off the handle a little bit and hits the middle of the backstop behind home plate for the foul. Sun's staying out here for the last few minutes, warming things up just a bit. Good day for baseball and night, as we should say. Sepulveda turns and fires a fastball outside for ball 1. Evens up the count at 1-1. Again, bottom of the order has got most of the hits in this game. Montez 2 for 2. Parrish 1 for 2. Phillips 1 for 2. 7 through 9 in the order. So they combined for 4 hits. And 2 for 3 for Hernandez to the third spot. There's a 1-1 pitch. Fastball at the end of the bat. A dribbler out to second. Should be an easy play for Cordova. Fires a sidewinder to first and connects. It's 4-3 on the third and final out here in the top of the 6th. The ground out to second. So the Eagles do get a double from Hernandez, but leave 1 on base, their third of the game. No runs come across. Head to the bottom of the 6th. Hobbs still trailing Clovis 5-2 on the road tonight. We'll be back in 60 seconds live on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Hobbs Eagles trail 5-2 here, bottom of the 6th. We are slated for 7 innings in this single affair tonight. Hobbs out hitting Clovis 6-5, but still trail by the 3. Got to play some tough D here. Wildcats managing those 5 hits so far. Is Alessandro Cordova 2 for 3. Javier Jimenez 2 for 2, triple and single with a walk. Sepulveda, the pitcher, is 1 for 3 with an RBI single. So several guys have had a chance to make some contacts. 5 hits, 4 walks for the Wildcats. They've been struck out 5 times by Prister, the pitcher for the Eagles. Looks like they've actually had a switch up now on the mound for Hobbs, and that's going to be Carson Phillips seeing his first action in relief. Number 9. So again, the final numbers for Brister: 6 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks given up, and made Clovis leave 3 on base. Again, 5-2 your score. Bottom of the 6th inning, and it will be Clovis at the plate. They'll be at the top of the batting order for the 4th time in this game. Quinn Culliver, the third baseman, he's 0 for 2 with the ground out to second, a strikeout, but was hit by a pitch in his 3rd at bat. Eventually scored a run for the Wildcats. One of the lefties and having a good game at 3rd as well defensively. Some great snags for him. Kind of a lanky kid. So again, Phillips we mentioned in relief for Brister. Curveball inside and goes low, almost hits the leg of Culliver. Quick reload for Phillips. He is 0-0 this season. Curveball outside. Ooh, he clipped the outside corner. Clovis fans not liking that strike call. Count 1-1. Again, 0-0 for Phillips this year. 6th game he's been in and has a 14 ERA. Curveball just barely misses outside. That looked like a better spot than the last one, but they call the ball on that one. 2-1 count now to Culliver. Phillips not wasting any time now. Turns and fires. Fastball outside for ball 3. Three-run lead for Clovis, 5-2. Phillips with the windup and the throw. Fastball low and outside for ball 4. So that'll put Culliver on the bases.
Next up for Clovis, number 10, Sandro Cordova.
That's the first walk issued by Phillips, the 5th of the ball game. Next up for the Wildcats, Alessandro Cordova. 2 for 3. RBI single, another single, run scored, ground to first in his first at bat. Got better as it went along though. Fastball low and outside. Good save from behind the plate by Hernandez to get down in the dirt there and keep the ball from going through his legs. Definitely knew that the runner was itching to get to second. Again, Culliver at first for the Wildcats. They lead by 3. Here comes Phillips slowing it down just a little bit. The ball's tipped up down the first baseline on the bunt. Chased down by Kestner, who scoops and tags the runner out about halfway down the first baseline. Boy, 1-2 punch there for Kestner. The ground out there for Cordova. And that's out number 1 for the Wildcats. Eagles definitely want to keep the Wildcats at bay, not add on to the 5-2 lead. Kobe Rivera now 3rd in the order. He is 0 for 2, flew to right, struck out, and was walked, so he has been on base 1 of 3 times. He is 3rd in the order for the Wildcats. Runner at 2nd. And Phillips is in relief of Chase Brister. Curveball at the end of the bat. Going to get some air out towards the left field. Shallow, though. Should be no problem for Phillips. Or correction, Curtis out there. As he makes the catch, we'd had that change as Phillips came into pitcher, of course. So Curtis gets his opportunity to make a difference of play. Of course, we saw him on the bases earlier. That will be the second out on the fly out to left. Eagles defense holding up here in the bottom of the 6th. 2 down. And bringing up to the plate is Javier Jimenez, although I think they made a change. No, I'm sorry, that is Josiah Hernandez. He's grounded short, fielder's choice, and a strikeout. Shortstop for, or excuse me, left fielder for Clovis. Ground out to the shortstop earlier to Fuentes. 2 down for the Wildcats. Runner at second and first. Bag open at third. Force out would be at third for the Eagle defense. Phillips takes a peek back at second, checks the runner. Fastball goes low and outside. Another good save, getting the knee pads down to block that one was Hernandez behind the plate for Hobbs. Definitely don't want that runner to extend to third, knocking at the door. Hobbs still leading with the hit count, 6-5. Phillips again looks back at second. Big leadoff by Culliver. Curveball outside, clips the corner. You can see the slide behind the plate by Hernandez before the ball released by Phillips. So knew that pitch was coming outside and did. Count to 1-1 on the strike. 2 down. Definitely expect Hernandez to try to keep this out of the infield if possible at the plate. Time called, and backing off the rubber is Phillips. Runners return to their bases. Phillips ready to go again. Oh, he bounces it off the plate, goes behind, and hits the backstop. Hernandez can't seem to find it. It got stuck, I think, near the wall. They call the time. And runners will advance second and third now. That thing hit hard. He actually got wedged right underneath the netting. There's a kind of a pad below near the wall, right behind home plate. And they're actually going to walk or go ahead and advance the runners even further. The umpires make a decision on that one. Coach Boyle out of the dugout now. And he's going to want to know why the officials went ahead and let the runners advance again. Ball looked like it got stuck behind home plate, and you would think they would just let the runners stay at their bases and be done with it, but looked like the ump called it dead. Now he's going to call time and go out and talk to the field umpire. I don't think you can let that runner come home. I mean, it looked like he called dead ball because the ball got wedged. Not sure if you can see that on the video, but ball came right behind home plate. Pitch was in the dirt and hit the home plate pretty hard. And then Hernandez just couldn't see it. The sun's kind of in his face. It's still shining at home plate, but looks like they're going to send runners back now. I think Coach Boyle had a good debate there with the umpires. Well, they're sending one runner back to second. I haven't seen the other guy in the dugout, Culliver, come back yet. I guess maybe we're going to say it took too long for them to call it dead, and that means the runner at third had enough time to get home. So that's probably what's gone on here. Although Coach Cruz having to talk with the ump right now. So I believe they get one run across on that one to make it 6-2. That will be Culliver scoring. Or does he know he's coming back? I've been corrected. Took him a little bit of time to get out of that dugout. So both runners come back. So I guess the Eagles get a dodging of a bullet there. Phillips got to take care of the pitches, though, as that one definitely was wild, and that brings back to the plate Hernandez. Josiah Hernandez, again, 0 for 3. Fastball hits low off the plate again off the chest protector of Hernandez, and he's been getting a lot of defensive plays out there to keep those balls in front of the plate and not behind him. 2-1 count now to Hernandez, who is fifth in the order for the Wildcats. This is their 5th time through the rotation at the plate. Umpires correcting the call there. 3-1 is the count. Runners at second and third, 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. 5-2 lead for Clovis. Fastball is going to go hard towards third off the hopper. Pulled down by Gaston. Fires across field to first. Boy, a big stretch out for Kester. Do they get it in time or not? Nope, they're going to say just late. So an RBI single for Hernandez. And that gets another run to come across. So they get one of those runs that were called back seconds ago because the ball got wedged behind home plate. And that will be making it 6-2. Clovis did not score in the 5th, but they have gotten a couple here in this inning. Actually, they said I guess the numbers are not adding up on the scoreboard. It is 6-2. They have forgot to subtract one when they brought those two runners back. Phillips going to fire the curveball down the middle for the strike as Moreno held on it. Moreno flew back to the pitching mound to Brister earlier in the game. Also had a sac RBI and a strikeout. So he's yet to be on a base yet. Runner at first. Curveball inside. It's going to take a hard roll over to second. And making the play, a little flick to second, is for the Eagles, Montez. And Fuentes covering that second bag to get the third out on the stomp out. So that will end the sixth inning. Although Clovis did manage to get one hit, one run scored, left one on base. It's 6-2. Top of the seventh. Last hurrah for the Hobbs Eagle offense. Got to get at least 4 to keep this game moving. If they don't get it, game over. We'll be back in 60 seconds of the Hobbs Eagle Network. That's got to be working here in Clovis. Hobbs trails 6-2 at the plate. Jason Fuentes 0 for 2, flew to right, ground to short. Next 3 batters have combined for 4 hits for the Eagles, so good place to be at this point in the game, down by 4. Montez 2 for 2, including a homer. Parrish 1 for 2, and Phillips 1 for 2. But like to start off with Fuentes trying to get his first hit of the game. Hobbs with 6 hits, tied up with Clovis in the hit numbers. Fastball goes down low for ball 1. Eagles have not been walked in this game so far, and at this point, Sepulveda going the distance for the Wildcats. Eagles do have relief in the form of Phillips for Brister in the late stages. Curveball clips the inside corner for the strike, evens up the count at 1-1. Game 1 of the series here this week. Eagles back at home on Friday against Clovis, 4:45 pregame. First pitch at 5. HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Fastball down the middle. It'll take a hop towards short. Backhand for Jimenez. Fires across the field high. And jumping up for it is Adams and gets the tap down on the first base to get the out. Off the 6-3. That's the second time Fuentes has hit over to Jimenez at short. One down for the Eagles. They got to keep hitting the ball, though, because they are down to their last 2 outs unless they can get the runs they need to at least tie it up at 6. 2 for 2, Tristan Montez, double, and a homer. RBI on top of that when he was the only man on the bases at that point. It's a good guy to have up there at this juncture of the ball game. A sinker, late swing, 2 for Montez for the strike. Sepulveda takes a little time here with an 0-1 count. Turns and fires, fastball outside, and looked like it might have curved a little bit at the last second there. Almost clipped that corner. Ball call there, 1-1 count for Montez. Parrish and Phillips, 8th and 9th in the order. Pair of P's there. Both have got a hit apiece. Here on the top of the 7th, Hobbs trailing by 4, 6-2. Curveball inside. Did it hit his elbow? Yes, it did. The right elbow, outside elbow for Montez. Hit by a pitch. First time that's happened to the Eagles in this game, although they've hit 3 batters for Clovis earlier in the contest. Luke Parrish now 1 for 2. RBI double and flew to third. So he's 1 for 2 at the plate. Got to get base runners, 1 down here in the top of the 7th. As he steps into the box. Sepulveda kind of messing around with the feet there on the rubber. Getting close to a balk there as he Field umpire watching closely from behind the mound. Fastball going to go high in the air, might curve out to foul territory right. A chance for a catch and in foul territory. Sliding over there on the run, Rivera making the catch for the Wildcats. The sun right in his face that time. Out past the first baseline to the right, and he got out there to make the catch. Didn't quite sure he was going to make it there, but he did. 2 down now for the Eagles. This could be their last out of the ball game. But trying to keep the team alive, Carson Phillips. He was 1 for 2 so far, single and a ground to third. So big game here. The Eagles are trying to come back in this one. He does have 3 RBIs this season. He's going to have a triple to get that added to his numbers. Fastball clips outside corner from Sepulveda for the strike. Holding on it was Phillips. This is the 3rd time in the order for Hobbs. They'd start off the 4th if they can continue on here in the bottom of or the top of the 7th. Camacho would be the start of the order for the 4th time. The 0-1 pitch from Sepulveda. Fastball high and outside for ball 1. Count to 1-1. Eagles went 2-1 last year against the Wildcats, losing the 3rd game of the series 8-6, winning games 1 and 2. Although this year only playing 2 games, 1 home, 1 away. Sepulveda, little stagger step off the mound and gets the runner to go back for the Eagles. That's Montez. Back to first. Sepulveda had been very active messing with first base in this game. Curveball. Out towards left center. Chasing up from center field is Moreno, and on the run, he makes the catch, shifting over to left. About halfway back, and that is the ball game, unfortunately, for the Eagles. So, Eagles getting no hits, 1 left on base. No runs come across. The final score, 6-2, as the Clovis Wildcats get their first win in district to go to 1-2. Eagles drop to 1-2 with the loss. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagle post-game show here in Clovis. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Welcome back to Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles, unfortunately, losing one tonight, 6-2 to the home Wildcats. Eagles drop to 7-16 overall, 1-2 in district. Wildcats get over 500 now at 11-10 and 1-2 in district, their first district win of the season after losing 2 to Carlsbad last week. Let's look at the numbers. First of all, for the Wildcats, they had a couple of players with multiple hits. Alessandro Cordova went 2 for 4. He had a pair of singles, an RBI with one of those, and a run scored. And it was Javier Jimenez who went 2 for 3, a single, a triple. He also had a stolen base, a run, and a walk. So he was on base 3 out of the 4 times he made it to the plate. Other guys with hits, including Josiah Hernandez, went 1 for 4. He had his RBI single. And it was the pitcher, Conrad Sepulveda, went 1 for 3. Started off the game with an RBI single. Also had a run. And that's about it. So they had 4 different guys with hits for the Clovis Wildcats. So 5 hits total. They ended up with just 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, hit by a pitch 3 times, and had 8 left on base. Again, for the Wildcats, winning pitcher, Sepulveda. For your Hobbs Eagles, a couple of guys with multiple hits, including Jaden Hernandez went 2 for 3, a single and a double. It was Tristan Montez with 2 for 2 hitting, a double, and then came up with an RBI homer, which is for himself, basically. Nobody on the bases, unfortunately, at that point. So 2 for 2 for Montez. And by the way, in terms of his home run production this season, that was his 2nd of the year, 11 total for the Eagles in terms of putting it over the fence. Other guys swinging the bat in this one, Lance Parrish went 1 for 3. He had an RBI double in the 3rd inning. And Carson Phillips went 1 for 3 with a single. Eagles finished with 6 hits, 1 more than the Wildcats, who had 5. Eagles only struck out twice in the game. They left 5 on base. No walks for the Eagles in terms of the offense, and were hit by 1 pitch. Losing pitcher, Chase Brister. That will be his 2nd loss of the season. Drops to 4-2. Carson Phillips came in relief. Clovis was up 2-0 at the end of the 2nd. Both teams getting a run in the 3rd, making it 3-1. Clovis added 2 runs in the 4th, 5-1 at that point. Eagles scored 1 in the 5th, 5-2, and the final run in the 6th for the Wildcats, 6-2, the final. Once again, the Wildcats now 1-2 in district, tied with the Eagles at 1-2, so a major game coming up on Friday. Eagles will be at Sportsman's Park at home to take on the Wildcats. And again, why is it important besides, in terms of the field for the district standings, but also the playoffs? Both teams are kind of hovering around the potential to make the playoffs, but with the loss here tonight, Eagles are really pushed to the corner there to actually try to get the victory and put themselves in a better position, because right now in the Max Preps poll, Clovis is above them, and due to that, they did have a 10-10 record heading into the game today, but now 11-10. Clovis sitting at 17. Hobbs came in at 19. So Hobbs will be 7-16. Clovis improves to 11-10. So being above 500 is kind of an important a benchmark to have to make it to the playoffs. But there have been teams that make under 500, but really want to try to make it above 500 to get a shot, because all the teams through 16 at this point on the Max Preps poll are above 500, including the Wildcats with the win tonight. The Eagles definitely could get that victory against Clovis and be in a better position, having a split with the Wildcats. So that's what we're looking at this point. Right now, Carlsbad sits at number 5 in the Max Preps poll, 17-5, and then, of course, that's pending their game with Roswell. Clovis at, we mentioned, 17, 11-10 record. The Hobbs Eagles, number 19, 7-16 record. And Roswell, although they split with the Eagles, they're sitting at 22nd, 9-12 record overall. So they have a couple more wins than the Eagles this season overall. But right now, they're going to have to dig themselves out of a hole. Remember, 16 is a lucky number. That's how many teams make the playoffs. And right now, Eagles are 3 back from that number. Clovis 1 back, and the Roswell Coyotes are 7 back. So big game again Friday night. Eagles at home against Sportsman's Park. 4:45 pregame. First pitch at 5. We'll have all the action for you at HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Again, final score here in Clovis, 6-2. Wildcats with their first district win. Thanks to Evie and Tiffany Stuber back to the station for Backus is Up. And I will be back with you on Friday in Hobbs at Sportsman's Park. Have a great rest of a Tuesday night out there.